If you're like most chiropractors, you probably didn't enter the profession for the money. You most likely got started because you were passionate about helping people and you knew you wanted to make a difference in patients' lives. By now, you're here. You probably realize that it does matter. Did you have to turn a profit to stay in business and continue what you're doing and what you love?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are again here with the popular Dr. Singleton. He'll be walking us through 3 keys to building a profitable practice. And within these 3 keys, we're also going to cover up just a couple of other subpoints in order to continue to build and even maintain the profitable practice as it grows. And so this is going to be a couple of secrets that Dr. Singleton allows himself to scale at a 6-figure monthly income. So whenever you're ready, Dr. Singleton, you have the floor.
All right. So as you see, I've been out a few years, 33 years. At one point we had 75 employees and even my own MRI machine, so I guess we figured out how to build a profitable practice to generate 700,000 to 800,000 a month. What'd you think? And so there's a lot that went into that, and I'm going to cover a few of those here. If you're interested to, generating more income. And so then since that time, again, we've trained over 2,500 clinics with programs that I do. And then I've spoke all over the world, everything from gut, microbiome, joint pain, weight loss, neuropathy, those kind of things. It's fun when you get hired to go on a cruise ship and talk to a bunch of doctors for 4 or 8 hours while you're at sea, because there's nothing else for you to do, right? So let's see if I can work this computer again. Arrow down. There we go. Now, you love to help others. If you're like most chiropractors, you probably didn't enter the profession for the money. You most likely got started because you were passionate about helping people and you knew you wanted to make a difference in patients' lives. So when you first began your studies, you might not have been thinking that this could be profitable. So I'm one of the few that actually was going to a chiropractor back in the 60s. I was like the only one in my school, in my sports teams, that ever went to a chiropractor. People thought I was kind of weird. They didn't know what that meant. And I have 7 friends who passed away from sports in junior high and high school because they got hurt so bad and they were put on medications, overdosed, and all this stuff. Because I was the only one going to chiropractor and I never got hurt. And so I'm still feeling good about that. So I went to this guy Dr. Kemble, and he practiced out of his house. I thought that was kind of cool. And in his backyard, he had a trampoline, some other cool toys and stuff that I didn't have growing up. So he always told me, he said, "Hey, Todd, you should be a chiropractor because you have big hands." I'm like, okay. And I thought, that's kind of cool. You have a business, you can go home and you're there already at home with your work. So I went to LACC and I'm there. And there's another story about why I went there. That's another day. But so I joined this, my friend got me hooked up with this practice management firm called PMA. And I went to this, I was in, I think it was the 8th trimester out of 10. And I went to the seminar and it's like these doctors were in suits, like nice suits. And I'm like, wow, there are those chiropractors. They look so good. And next thing you know, I'm finding out these guys are making 100, 200, 300, 500,000 a month. Like I'm thinking I can make 10, 15,000 a month and be happy with that. But I'm finding out doctors are making, from 100,000 to $1 million a month. And I'm going, what did I just get into? Here's a profession that you could actually make a lot of money. So I went into this just trying to help people, just thought it was going to be a fun thing to do. And next thing you know, I'm almost getting out of school. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So, better to, better a good decision quickly than the best decision too late. So I kind of got into it the right time. So after 8 to 10 years of school, by now you're here, you probably realize that it does matter. Did you have to turn a profit to stay in business and continue what you're doing and what you love? 95% of all businesses, like in 5 years, they're done. So, you need working capital. I remember when I first started, I borrowed 15,000 from my grandmother at like 22% interest. I'm like, Grandma, shouldn't you just like give it to me? Right. But she was a very shrewd businesswoman. So yeah, that's the loan I paid off first back. And then I had borrowed 30,000 from a local bank here. So 30, 40. So what's that? 30, 40. So $45,000 to start back in 1991. And so, and I thought, you know what? Let's do 50,000. To me, it was like big, audacious, big goal, 50,000. Like little bit in my mind going, I have no idea how I'm going to get to that, right? But the company I was working with, some management company, kind of helped me, and I got to 50,000 within 6 months. And then later, that's another story too, how I got up to the 800,000 a month. But because I did not have stinking thinking. That's the thing, stinking thinking. Poverty mentality. I have some doctors who are like, "Oh, Dr. Singleton, I can't do your weight loss and neuropathy program here because people here can't afford it." I just want to ring him. I'm like, then, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. So again, stinking. In fact, this morning on the way to work here, I was listening to Wallace Waddles audiobook. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. It's not, I mean, the art, the title, but it's how to think, not just for your business, but for home and everything in life, the science of getting what you want. So see, to do this, you're going to need to charge a fair price for your service. This guy was charging like $24 a visit. He didn't think he could charge more than $24 a visit. People in our city can't do that. Now, if you haven't kept a careful budget, now is the time to start. To begin, think about how much you need to charge given your existing operation expense to bring home desired income. So you have a budget, you got savings, you may need to live on rice and beans for a while, because the money is in new patient blood. That's where the money comes in. So make sure you have written goals that you look at every single day. Because remember, a goal not written is a wish. Years ago, Stanford or Harvard University, I can't remember, there was a financial professor there, and he told his students, write down your goals, write down what you want. When you're done with school, when you get out in the real world, what do you want? How much do you want to make? What kind of life do you want to have? And he had all the students write these goals. And he tried to follow up with them 10 years and 20 years later, because he's kind of doing research and stuff. Well, out of 20 years, only 3 of them actually wrote the goals, and they still review them every day. Just 3 out of 100. Those 3 students that are no longer students, those 3 students make more money than all 97 of them combined. Guys are going over their goals there. They know what they want. They know what so you need to have something that's written, even in your back office, so your staff can see. Are you seeing enough patients to reach your goal? Are your expenses too high? When considering operating expenses, don't let anything slip through the cracks. One of my good friends I went to school with, he was bragging the fact that his PVA was 110. That means patient visit average. But how much was he charging? About $10 to $12 a visit. And he was working all the time. And I was doing these other programs, and I was making more money in a month than he did in like 5 years, but he's working hard, but he always had this poverty mentality. Can't afford it, can't do it, can't do that. So remember, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. So working capital, I guess you may need some working capital later. There are banks that are willing to give you loans. So make sure that you include payroll, rent, utilities, supplies, equipment, leases. When calculating your income, pay attention to the differences between what you build and what you collect. So yeah, I was billing out 800,000 a month. What was I collecting? 300 to 400,000 a month. But if your overhead's like 280, which mine was 280,000 a month, if you didn't collect 280,000, then you're like, you need to take out some personal money. There are months where I was taking home 50,000 a month, and that felt good. So at least once a week, you need to look at these numbers to make sure you're right on track. So we have a software program that we use that has your goals. So if you want to do 50,000 a month, let's say, and each visit or each patient, if you sell a program, is so much money, it'll tell you how many patients you need to get to that point. So then you're going to know how much marketing you're going to do, how many leads you need to come in. Because if you're only converting 50% of your leads, you got to get more leads. And so that kind of a thing. So it's a system. So you can it's all metrics. It's a science. It really is a science. So how to get new patients? One of the ways I'm using proactive, as you can see there, we're getting 10, 30 plus every single week. Even over a weekend. That's like, I remember Christmas Eve and Christmas Day were like 24 leads. It's like, serious? Don't patients need to spend time with their family? What are they doing on Facebook? Facebook is, think of people, they're on their freaking phones, so, and guess what's on the phone? Facebook. So they're on Facebook, and all of a sudden they see my ad pop up. They go, oh, that looks good. I want to do that. And they fill out the voucher. And next thing you know, I get a text, and and we contact him, you know. So, and the other thing we do is we give, in fact, I'll talk to you about that in a minute here, how to give incentives to your employees. Now, to reach your income goals, you're going to need to have enough patients cycling in and out of your office on a daily basis. This can be easier said than done. You need to do better onboarding, patient onboarding. So like what we do is you give a value tour. So instead of going right to the exam office, you know, an x-ray, you show them the office, you show them the rooms. Here we do this, here we do this. We have an infrared sauna here. We do the body reps here. We do the Zerona laser. We do neuropathy treatment here. And of course, what they're coming in for. We have a decompression table here and we blah, blah, blah. We explain what that is. And then they're like, wow, you guys do a lot of stuff here. I didn't even know you did this. This is amazing. Because all your new patients, probably 95% of your new patients have been to another doctor. They're not a new chiropractic patient. Because remember, only 6 to 7% of the population go to chiropractor. So your new patients bailed on their other chiropractor because he couldn't help them with their pain, because he didn't know why they had pain, because he didn't know about the gut, the microbiome, the precursor to cause DJD, degenerative joint disease. So if a doctor handles the patient the right way, full everything from A to Z, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. So you need to expand what you're doing. You may need to add more services. Now, if you're struggling to keep patients flowing to your office at a dying pace, you may need to rethink your current marketing strategy. Like this left guy here, I need someone to reboot my mainframe. And she's like, well, we don't do that here. No, you need to get more tools in your toolbox. And if you need to learn all the different things that patients can come in for, I'm going to show you in just a minute here. And then the one on the right here, back in a snap, you know, a chiropractor, he's closed. We were open from 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday. We never were closed for lunch. Why are you closing for lunch? Do you realize if you're closed for 1 to 3 hours, you can see patients during that time? Why in that would you be closed for lunch? Oh, because no, it's just, that's crap. So we had 7 employees and we would stagnate their lunches. Okay, so we're working 40 hours a week. And guess what? Staff got Fridays off. Fridays. Who doesn't want a 3-day weekend? They loved it. So some were coming in at 9 and some were coming in until like noon. And so you just have to stagger them. But there are certain things. Don't ever close for lunch, and have somebody answer your phone. So many offices that I call, because I coach doctors, I call during lunchtime. Nobody answers their phone. Hi, we're closed. Leave a message. No, somebody take the phone with them to lunch. Forward the phones to somebody's cell phone. So I forward it to a staff person, and if they answer the phone, guess what? They get $10. If they schedule somebody, they get $10. So there's an incentive there to take the phone. So everybody. So you know what's crazy? I have another phone here. So my office is actually, I carry the office cell phone. So if a patient calls, I answer it. Saturday, Sunday, I answer it. 9 o'clock at night, I answer it. Oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. That's cutting into my day. Well, you know what? Maybe you should, again, stinking thinking. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm being abrupt here, but you are where you are because of how you think. That's all I can tell you. Okay. It's all about marketing. What you're doing to attract patients in your office. How might you improve? If you're looking for fresh ideas, consider these options. You know, there's so many things out there that you can do. So here's 3 of the things that I've done. Patient referral system. If your existing patients are happy with their service they're receiving in your clinic, they should be willing to, even excited to refer their friends and family members. But sometimes patients need a little extra incentive to take time to do this. So guess what we do? Because you'll go to seminars and some consultant is telling you, let me just tell you here, how to double your patient flow in half the time, paying 0 for advertising and marketing costs. There are consultants that are telling you these things, and it's a lie. I'm sorry, but no business is successful without marketing. I mean, look at from Apple, to Delta. I mean, it's like airlines. They're in marketing, and so what we do is we have the staff, little cards with their name on there. So the staff have their own cards, and they give out the cards like share the care. Here's an example. So they give this card to a patient who's having success, and the staff member also records the patient. If they give hey, I've just lost 10 pounds, or my pain is reduced. Like my pain's like 50% gone. Oh, hey, Brenda, well, you say Brenda's the patient. Let me get you I want to record a video. So we record. So hi, this is Brenda. She just told me she's down 50% pain. So you record that. There's a recording. There's a testimonial. So every week Every week we play all the testimonials from the staff, and then we reward the staff person some money, with the best testimonial of the week. And then if a person comes in with this card, because it has the patient or the employee's name on one side, and then this care card, then the employee gets $50. If that person refers somebody and they come in, so we're giving hundreds and hundreds of dollars out, every week in bonuses, because my staff is excited about, getting patients to refer. All right. Now, also to motivate, well, what I'm doing now is to offer a reward. So for a patient, so you might offer a discount rate or a free product or a fun treatment, like a free 5-minute massage, like a seated vibratory massage, feel good massage. New patients with the lifeblood. So small incentives, like, so what we'll do is when a patient refers another patient, because we do a lot of weight loss, is they get a body wrap. So the body wraps, they can lose 4 to 14 inches in an hour. So they get an extra body wrap, or that's like worth $125, or a shake, $50 shake, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, mocha. Patients love free stuff. And if you're rewarding them, they like that. Facebook advertising, years ago, we were spending, like, for neuropathy, we're spending like 15,000 in TV and some newspaper ads. And social media was coming around, like, around what, 10, 12, 13, 15 years ago. So we had a smart person started looking at this in our office, one of our employees. Next thing you know, we're spending like $2,500, $3,000 instead of 15,000, and getting the same amount of leads coming in. So if you have any experience with online marketing, you know that Facebook advertising is quickly becoming one of the most popular online platforms. So Facebook advertising, the features, you hone in on key demographics, you get a huge bang for your buck. So I have Proactive. I have them test my little marker, the little pin, because wherever they move that pin, there's a radius. I think it's 5 miles, where we're going to draw from. So we kind of move the pin around, test, test, test. You got to test the area to see where you're going to attract. And so I tell you what, people are on Facebook. It's like a thing. And I always thought people, because I do a lot some older people with neuropathy, older people are on Facebook. Yeah, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's crazy. These older people are knowing what's going on. So unlike other platforms, Facebook allows you to show your ads only to those who are who are interested. And so you can get laser focused on the right audience, age, income levels, interest. And so, you want to be able to do that and test it, like I said, because I remember Groupon used to be great years ago, like 12, 13 years ago. And I remember one day I sold $40,000 in Groupon. They bought like 640 because I was doing laser programs for inch loss, and I thought, hey, this is cool, but now it's not good. Again, this way you're not wasting money advertising to the wrong people. I remember back in 2020 and 2021, I was doing some, billboards and some newspaper still for neuropathy, and some journal. There's a weekly journal in the different area cities in your in your valley. And I was doing that. We got stuff here and there, but you can spend, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, or you can, spend Facebook with Proactive, and get some good leads. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. You're not always going to get the golden ticket every single time. You got to work the leads. And I did a webinar before about how to work the leads. Best time to call. So if you want to find out where that is, you can do that. But we want to find out what's a good investment, what's a bad investment. Because you know what? 2020 and 2021, I spent like $50,000 in 7 months on a social media platform that I hired some local people here. Guess how many leads I got in 6 months? 0. Like, what the hell? Was I the idiot? I guess. They had all these awards, they had all this stuff, but it wasn't a fit. It wasn't a match. So when Proactive came around, I'm going, yeah, I've heard about that. But I thought, you know what? They had a good price. And I tested them, and within the first day, I started to get leads. I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I've been with them for, I don't know, about a year and a half now. So public speaking. Years ago as a chiropractor, when I was first getting started, I placed an ad in Yellow Pages. I had the first Yellow Page ad, the first full page back in 1991. And then 2 years later, they were allowed you to have 2. So I had what's called a double truck Yellow Page ad. I think it was like $3,500 a month. So pretty much Yellow Pages are obsolete. I mean, you see them stacked somewhere in some people's yards or in the back alleys. They're not using that. So doctors are turning to things like Facebook, but there are things to do for public speaking. So this is the type of online advertising enough to bring in the traffic that your office needs. So if you want to set yourself apart from the crowd, you need to go one step further and get out in the community. to engage in on-ground marketing. So one of our doctors markets weight loss, and we showed him how to do this. And he basically invites people, because we have a platform to invite new people out to a venue, a speaking. So he actually rents out a hotel room for like 150 bucks. You can fit like 100 people in this room. They set the chairs out, they have water. It's like for 100, 150 bucks, they have this room, and he's got the, projector, and so he'll have anywhere from like 50 to, 85 people show up to this speaking. And I've done the same thing. And, if you close 50% of them, and this guy's doing up to 300,000 a month, in programs that I've developed. So, we also go to restaurants and do what's called, you just like lunch and learn kind of a thing. So we do that on the restaurants, where I pay for lunch, but I have a captive audience. And the other thing I do now is I go to senior centers, not where they live, but like where they go play poker, well, pool, they dance, they have bingo, but you can put a flyer in there and say you want to come in and talk about neuropathy, or maybe in your case, you want to talk about back pain. So I go in there and I'll have, 20 to 40 people in there, and I'll do a presentation about neuropathy. Next thing you know, I've got all these new patients. So again, getting out there, public speaking, because people really buy you. They're going to buy you more than your service. Because if they like you, if they like your energy, if they feel like you're confident about what you treat, they're yours. Okay. Again, while running a profitable business may not be your forte, it's also vital, because they don't teach that in school. It's also vital you want to fulfill your dreams. Ultimately, your goal should be to serve each patient's primary care, like be the patient's primary care provider. If you're doing this right, your patients won't just turn to you to resolve acute conditions. They'll look for like nutrition, like the left, some healthy issues, or because some doctors just adjust the atlas only, whether it's NUCA or upper cervical. I mean, that's fine if that's your thing, but there's backs and chest and shoulders and hips and hands and arms, and knees, legs, ankles, feet. So working out of your comfort zone. So patients will turn to you for help with general wellness in all areas of their lives. If you're willing to work, you can have a profitable clinic up and running in no time. As you begin to see the profound effect that you have on your patients' lives, your success will inspire you to make your business even better. So most doctors are in this comfort zone. And the reason why, let's talk about this fear zone. So I met one of my doctor friends I went to school with, and she's like Dr. Singleton. I always met her at the Parker seminars in Vegas. He goes, I go, Doc, you should do nutrition. It's really good. Well, I don't know. I go, well, we had 4 years of nutrition, but that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. So I said, we'll train you. We'll actually show you exactly what you need to do, so you don't need to be fearful. So she went to the training. She had the training. The first month, she sold $12,000 in nutritional supplementation, because now she knows. So now she's over here, in the learning zone. So she was in the learning zone, and then she got into the growth zone. So we have to kind of burst through our comfort zone. And that's, the more education you have, the more you learn, then that kills the lack of self-confidence. And that can be helped. That can be done. Even humans can learn how to fetch a stick or a frisbee. What else can you add? Now, are you seeing enough patients to reach your goal? Are your expenses too high? Maybe you shouldn't buy that boat or that RV right now. Make sure, but I have friends that are buying boats and RVs that are chiropractors. Well, you know what? Maybe they have other, thinking, because if you have in fact, the book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, you can have a doctor on this side of the street, doctor on this side of the street. This doctor is doing well. I mean, he's got everything he wants. This other doctor, he has to advertise $10 adjustment. He has to advertise because he has stinking thinking, of course, how he thinks. They're in the same city. They have the same access to the population. So why is this doctor doing so well and this doctor is not? Again, comes back to what we think, how we think. Okay. So don't be afraid of a little hard work. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. But also pattern yourself after successful things. So find a consultant that can help you get to where you want to be, because that's what I did. I just didn't develop this myself. I was paying consultants $3,000 to $5,000, up to $15,000 a week to come to my office for 4 days. Hence $800,000 a month. So I had to learn. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. So if you want any help with seeing the why in your practice, where you're at, if you're stinking thinking, I'll know when I talk to you. I can help you. And so this is my website where I help doctors generate from like 10 to 200,000 a month. And then from weight loss, neuropathy, diabetes, pain management programs, cash programs. And then this solutions4.com is the best I've seen. I don't own it. It's the best I've seen in nutrition.